The following is an encore presentation of new expressions.
And 10 on a Friday morning, a beautiful Friday morning. New expressions here. I've been on with you for the next hour. And sitting in for my co-host, Craig Stevens, is, who's this fellow we haven't seen all week? Michael Reid. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yourself?
Good. So you're back today.
Back today,
and
yep.
Doing double duty, making up for the whole week.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this is what they do to you here. They make you work nice and hard for it.
I'm sorry, if you didn't read the fine print when you came in here.
It's not the first time I've done this, so I think we're going to be good. It'll be fine. It'll be fun to fill in for Craig today.
Yes.
So looking forward to it.
Yes. In the studio also is work experience individual named Killian, all the way from France. You can't hear him. He doesn't have a microphone. Once he gets on the mic, kid doesn't shut up. So we just thought, no, we're not giving him a mic this morning. My goodness. So he's in the studio. So if you hear any ruckus in the back, I don't know. Some cans happening. It's coming from the back of there. But our guest today, Caleb, Red Frogs. How
What's
you doing,
going on?
man?
What's going on? Thanks for having me. Happy Friday,
dude.
guys.
Yes. Love the Friday.
Bonjour, Killian.
Yes. He speaks French, German, and Spanish.
See, this is the thing, right? I had a friend who did high school in Italy, in Rome, actually.
Oh.
And I said to him, tell me about high school in Rome. He came out to Australia and did a year with us. And he took 13 subjects in 4 different languages.
Really?
And I'm like, I'm struggling my 5 subjects in just English.
13.
And he was doing 13 subjects across all those different languages.
My goodness. Hate those kind of guys. No, just kidding. No, we've been doing some apps and some ads in there, some little IDs and whatnot. And oh man, he's been bunging it on. I'm telling you, he knows how to do it.
It's impressive
awesome
stuff.
Excellent. Well, this morning, Mr. Wright, I know this is new to you, and this whole thing, the other side of the desk kind of thing there. But, if you feel, led to lead, be my guest. I don't have a problem with that. Craig normally does anyway. So I'm usually the sidekick. So I'm Lewis. He was Dean. So young kids like, who are they? But Caleb, okay, first off, everybody knows Red Frogs. I mean, we've known Red Frogs for, goodness, man.
It's been a while.
Yes. So long. It's just
We
crazy.
should probably clarify, right? Because people are going, yeah, the confectionery, right? We know.
No, not at all.
Exactly.
But yes and no. But actually, first, give us an overview.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there will be people who don't know. I mean, believe it or not, people are still getting saved. You think the whole planet would be, but today, according to estimates, 167,000 people will be saved today. That's the number. So we get new people all the time. So run down what Red Frogs is.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so as I said, one of Australia's favourite candies. We found out actually it's probably the most popular lolly as far as an individual bag of lollies go, the Red Frog. So people probably know about that, but people may also know about this wholesome, healthy festival on the Gold Coast, Schoolies, which is where this whole thing started back in 1997, this charity, Red Frogs Australia. Which has spread to 10 different countries now. Killian, we're actually in France. There you go, man. We can talk about that later. But it started on the Gold Coast, 1997, when a guy who had been mentoring a group of young fellas at the skate park near him. They went down to Schoolies on the Gold Coast, and he said, I've been mentoring these guys for a couple of years now. I want to go check in on them, make sure that Schoolies isn't undoing all the great work we've done getting these guys' life on track and getting them passionate about different things that they're talented in and all of those things. So he rocked up there to the Gold Coast, and yeah, sure enough, there's buildings of 400 plus 17-year-olds with 1 or 2 adults in sight and more alcohol and other substances than you can chuck your nana at. And so Andy, our founder, still involved, CEO Andy Goulet, aka the Boss Frog, way back then in 1997 went, man, we got to do something about this. And that's how the whole thing started. He started going in and checking in on people, pulling them out of elevators, pulling them out of ditches and walking them home, making sure they were aware that they didn't want to lose mum and dad's bond on the hotel room they had for the week. So maybe playing toboggan down the staircase in the hotel wasn't the best idea. And looking out, obviously, all of the different ways that you can look out for young people in those environments, putting food into them, water into them, walking them home safely, making sure they're staying together, all that kind of thing, referring them for extra help. And the hoteliers and obviously Schoolies and everyone there got wind of what he was doing and went, man, we need more of this. Yeah. How can we get more of this? And so it was just Andy and a few of his friends for the first few years, but now we're talking 3,500 plus volunteers, 24 tons of red frogs, thanks to our friends at Allen's every single year, with people doing exactly that, safeguarding young people.
So the family has grown exponentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And
That's got to please the boss frog. Boss frog.
Yeah, that's it, the boss frog.
I thought the big rippet. Another boss frog. My goodness. Oh, you don't rip it. Never mind.
It works.
Moving on.
Boss frog. He's actually become a grandpa lately, and so he's been getting Papa Frog a bit. He's trying to decide if he likes that quite as much. But
I like that
he's
myself.
still involved, hey? 28 years later.
Yeah.
He's still involved. He was in Sydney just recently looking after some university students, part of a medical student association ball, and again, handing out water and donuts and making sure people are getting homes. He's still passionate about it 28 years later.
So 1997.
Yeah.
You guys would have grown quick because I remember having you guys in Newcastle, and I was still doing the breakfast show. And that was 97, 98, 99. So you would have spread across the country really fast.
Yeah.
I didn't actually realize that back then. I just thought you had been around.
Yeah.
So, wow. Okay, so how quick did you go from that one spot to the following year? Do you know history on that?
I'll let me check some numbers for you, but it really blew up quick because, like we say, the need there on the Gold Coast.
Because you were in our studios at Newcastle. I was doing breakfast show. Me and Shane. You guys walked in. That would have been 98.
Right.
And you guys were out and about doing things in the city. I think you were there for Surf Fest. I think you were there for a Surf Fest. I think you were there for that. A few other things. So that is really quick.
Yeah.
Wish we could grow that quick.
I do remember that back in the Newcastle days as well. It was and I still remember. I talked to Andy a long time ago. I still remember that when you and I were together at Dream in Newcastle. So lots of expansion. A couple of things I actually wanted to ask you this morning, Caleb, about this. Now, when obviously you're sort of talking about red frogs when it first started, it was basically just get some feet on the ground. Get them into schoolies, make sure that, people are kind of being looked after as much as they possibly can.
That's it. Safeguarded is the word we use. Yeah.
Exactly right. And because it can be an environment where I think a lot of parents would be like, okay, look, my kids have been asking me, hey, we want to go to schoolies this year, and they've almost had a mild coronary at the thought of it. But knowing that there is an organisation like Red Frogs on the ground there, what are some of the other things that it's kind of, I guess, have evolved along the journey of Red Frogs? Because, again, it was originally, look, let's get some lollies out there, let's get some water out there, let's kind of keep people hydrated at least. Go up there, we're not going to judge them, we're just going to be here to look out for people. What are some of the other things that have happened over the years now?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, the lollies actually were just an icebreaker to begin with, to use to practically start that conversation and be able to check in and that kind of thing. There's funny rumours that get around about the lollies. Don't take the lollies from the red frogs, they'll sober you up really fast, and all of these different things. But hey, the universal love for red frogs, it's been really helpful. And as you say, that application of being willing to be there, and most of the time, 90% of people are going to these to schoolies and to different festivals and concerts and places that were involved now, university, and they're having a great time and having fun, and the red frogs are right there alongside that peer presence, having fun. But it's that small number, being there for them in that right place, right time, and as you've indicated, that's universally applicable. So you start at schoolies on the Gold Coast, but you spread across to all of the different locations around Australia where there's post-school celebration trips happening, leavers in WA, all the trips down in Victoria, Byron Bay, countless locations in Australia, and then you move across to overseas, so Fiji. There's big graduate trips that happen, and again, they've asked, hey, can Red Frogs come and be a part of this? So we're making sure our young people are having a great time celebrating, but they're staying safe in the process. And then it moved beyond that. It's week to week. There's across high schools, universities, skate parks. We've got teams of Red Frogs out there every single week engaging with young people in the community and using that Red Frog as a moment just to spark a conversation and say, hey, how you doing? And be a listening ear. Yeah. And just that practical service aspect of, hey, would you like a red frog? Let's have a conversation, have some water, and then a listening ear. And the volunteers are trained to go, hey, I don't know all the answers, but I can help you find what you're looking for. We can find someone you can talk to more about that. We can connect you with someone who can help with that, who's got some experience in that space. And so that principle, as you say, of safeguarding, not just helpful at schoolies, but across all of those different environments as well.
Yeah. Look, one of the things that I was really interested as well, that You know, I mean, when we are talking about teens, there's a whole other conversation to be had around things like mental and physical health and all that, particularly mental health. So even with some of the volunteers with Red Frogs, I did notice there that they have emotional support as well. What is? Can you give us just a typical walkthrough of what that would look like practically on the ground, say at a Gold Coast place?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got everything from the really extreme cases where someone's having really dark thoughts, and the Red Frogs volunteers have turned up right place, right time to pull them in and say, hey, there is hope. You're not alone. Let's just sit together. And as I say, like for Red Frogs volunteers, it's often then connecting them with Beyond Blue or whatever it is on that mental health space. But it's that peer-to-peer, not having to be an expert, not having to have all the answers. Yeah. And really, we all do this. You know, you don't need a Red Frog shirt to do this for our mates. And it's powerful to step in. And Beyond Blue have this idea of just asking questions, listening, and then seeking help together. Coming alongside someone and seeking help together, letting them know that they're not alone. And in those really extreme moments, that's really powerful. But it's the presence of the Red Frogs in those programs. Schoolies is great. It's this 1 week intensive, if you like, and the Red Frogs have so many interactions where they meet young people at just the right time that week. But the week-to-week stuff as well, where it's not necessarily this big hype environment with music and alcohol and other substances floating around. It's just the week-to-week stuff of checking in and being there for those regular conversations.
It's very strategic because most people just want to be heard.
Right.
That's it. They just want to be heard. That's all.
Right.
Yeah. I have a voice.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you enter into that conversation with a lolly. I mean, yes, it's much more than a lolly, but you used the term a little while ago, icebreaker. It is. Everybody navigates to something sweet. I'm sorry. What it is. Well, your chosen
hard to
weapon.
turn down a Red Frog.
Your chosen weapon is a Red Frog. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if we had one now and waved it in the air, Killian would be like, hey, give me one, give me one, give me one. Right
Actually,
now.
Killian, have you tried one yet? A Red Frog? The Australian lolly? No, okay. We're going to have to get one in the studio.
Yeah, you may
They're
have,
actual frogs.
Yeah.
They're actually real frogs, but they are red. And we saute them and different things like that. Dude, you're going to love them. You're a Frenchman.
Yeah.
This is right up your alley.
Right, yes.
You're going to love this.
You probably already had one, but you didn't know the name of it because in France, you probably call it, the red frog. A red frog. I'm loving Killian. He's treasure. But it's strategic. And, sometimes, we use the term clickbait online.
Right.
Essentially, that red frog, that's the bait.
Right.
But it's a bait to a bigger world. And
Right.
you don't know what's going to come at you. All you know is that they're going to enter willingly into a conversation.
Yeah.
And the moment they do, the conversation will flow freely.
Yeah.
And you can identify things and see what they need and care for them. Because schoolies seems, to all the kids out there, fun. To all the parents out there, concern. You know what I mean? It's concern. Because we know there's going to be things going on. We know there's going to be alcohol. We know there's going to be drugs. We know there's going to be spiking. We know there's going to be predators. But to kids, it's still, they've gone from a 16, 17-year-old teen back to a 2-year-old with tunnel vision. I only see the fun. But you guys see everything else. And I'd imagine you would have seen a plethora of things, man. But we need to go to a break. I want to come back. I want to explore that because, it's much more to people listening. Some people still probably haven't gotten it. What's the big deal about out there handing out frogs and yakking with people? It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. But we'll explore it when we come back. Jordan Sparks here. Love Me Like I Am here on 94.9 Rima Central Coast. You're tuning in to New Expressions this morning. Michael Wright sitting in for Craig Stevens. And in the hot seat today, we got Caleb from Red Frogs. And that first segment was enlightening. We killed some rumors there. One, no, there's nothing in the Red Frogs. Two, yes, if the car smells like Red Frogs, you're probably in the car with Red Frog. Three, they will not combust. It's okay. It's all right. The fumes are safe. So we dispelled that. That was awesome. Second, your founder, and I know Red Frogs as a company, Allen's, would be loving the attention right now. But when he first approached them, was it a yes? Was it some, I don't know about that? Wait a minute. You want me to give you free red frogs to hand out to teenagers, which is our market. So, do you have any insight on that story?
Yeah, it took a few years actually for Allen's to get on board, as far as I'm aware, to see the impact of what was going on. But it's obviously from 8-ton to 16-ton to now 24-ton a year. They've seen the impact of it, and obviously for organisations that are moving product and that kind of thing, to be able to attach it to a bigger cause, to be able to attach it to having a really positive impact as far as the community, showing that's really appealing for them. And so we're so grateful for Allen's coming alongside, obviously, and so are all the people who get to be the benefactors of those brilliant little candies. But actually, you'll see on the back of all Allen's Lollies packets now, they've actually got Red Frogs, as in the charity. They've got a little information.
Really?
On the back, they've got our logo and a little paragraph about how Red Frogs is an opportunity to spark a conversation, to share moments of hope and joy with young people. So really cool of Allen's to jump on board with that.
You got a little pendulum that swings positive in both ways. I like that. So how did you, as an individual, get involved in Red Frogs?
Absolutely.
Were you the recipient of one and that started the conversation?
Yeah.
Or you just wanted one and thought the best way to get one is to join up? Or what's the deal there?
Yeah, fair question. There were a few of my friends who'd been volunteering for a number of years with the Red Frogs who'd said to me, you would love this. You love meeting new people. You love hanging out. You love music. Come on, you got to try this out. And I was like, I don't really understand. Maybe like some of the listeners like you referred to. What do these guys do? And I just couldn't get my head around it. And funnily enough, this friend of mine, Tom, said there's actually an event we've been asked to come and support, and it's literally happening 100 meters from your house. You have no excuse to not come along to this. And it was a Year 12 formal after party.
Oh.
And it had been set up. I don't know if you guys ever heard the term bush doof before.
Yes.
Right.
So either be a part of the noise or just deal with the noise.
So there's this. I was living in Queensland at the time, and there's a banana farm across the road from the property where I grew up. One of the paddocks had been cleared, so you got this relatively flat, no banana trees left on this paddock. And the school chose the Year 12 students had chosen this is where we're going to go after our formal, still suited up in their finery. We're going to head across to this banana farm paddock that's been cleared. We're going to turn this into our dance floor for the night. And they had the sense to get in contact with Red Frogs, and they wanted to put some stuff in place to make sure the night was going to be a lot of fun, but also safe. And so, I heard this doof, doof, doof noise. Like, okay, there you go.
It is.
Tom was right. There it is. I can hence bush doof. And so, popped my head up there, and you could see the students set up. The Red Frogs hadn't arrived yet, and you could just see where the night was going. There's these students, no light. They've remembered to bring their drinks and just about nothing else. Big speaker, their drinks and nothing else. And so you could see where it was going, and other schools had gotten wind of what was going on, and so you had students rocking up from other places, and there were some things simmering that you could see this night might turn from fun to having a few challenges pretty quickly.
To an X project?
Yeah. And then Tom and the friends turned up. Tom and the Red Frogs turned up in this ute, towing this trailer behind with big lights on it. So they pull into this paddock, open the trailer up, the floodlights come on, reveal everything going on in the paddock. And the Red Frogs had arrived. They came out of the truck, out of the ute, wearing these Red Frog shirts, started handing out Red Frogs and water. A couple of the guys opened up the trailer to reveal a barbecue where they started flipping pancakes and handing those out, just putting food and water into these drinking students who were celebrating finishing school. And I straight away I could see the impact of this. Like, again, most of them having a great time, having fun celebrating, and just having that water and that food just means that they were well looked after. But for others, potentially who'd pushed too hard earlier in the night, and they'd been kind of distracted by people they didn't know who may have been trying to take advantage of a situation and stuff like that. And I watched as the Red Frogs quickly, diverted those situations and intercepted and got involved in the conversations and said, hey, let's go find your friends again. Hey, where'd they get up to? And guys who are thinking about trying to jump over fireplaces, because there was a little bit of extra courage in the system, and they'd never jumped that kind of height in their life, but the courage that night was running high, and the Red Frog said, how about we go play? Let's go try this out instead, and redirected them over to some other activities, and I got to see it. And so Tom brought me in and said, okay, well, like, you can come and shadow us for the night. Check this out. And I walked away from that going, you know what? We all need a good friend. We all need a good friend who's got our best interest in mind when we're out having fun, and especially if there's peer pressure for young people, peer pressure, substances involved that could really impair judgment. And so to have that good friend who's got your best interest in mind, looking out for you, stepping in right at the right moment, that's really powerful. That's really powerful. And so Red Frogs goes into high schools and universities now and passes on some of the key principles to look after your mates when they might be drinking and stuff. And Red Frogs are aware we get to every party we can, every event we can. We can't get to everything, but if we can pass on those lessons, those valuable lessons, that's going to make a big difference. And so for me, that night I went, I want to be be involved in this. And so started volunteering. That was 9 years ago now.
9 years ago?
9 years ago now. So 9 schoolies later, countless university parties, countless times going into high schools, times at skate parks, and just seeing the impact of being that mate that's there, that best friend since 1997 is the phrase that we use for Red Frogs. That best friend, to be there, to have fun, to be a part of the celebrating, but there just in case a conversation's needed or redirections needed or referrals needed just at the right time.
So 9 years. Okay. You've been there long enough to not just see the impact of Red Frogs, but for you yourself to be impacted. So, and I'm pretty sure you'd have come across some situations that you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could talk about some of those, but you can talk in and around those.
Yeah.
Because like I said, that lolly, for those people out there thinking, well, this is just hand out lollies. No, it's not. It's debate.
Right.
It's the clickbait. It's the icebreaker.
Yeah.
It's a conversation starter. And what was on the back of the package?
Yes, but using Red Frogs to spark joy. Create
joy.
Moments of hope for young people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, share what you can, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got this great quote actually from a Red Frogs volunteer that was submitted as part of an impact report we did recently, where they said, "We see dignity restored, we see hope, and we see people simply loved in the middle of their mess. At their most vulnerable, we also get to see the flow-on effects of that. It's a real privilege to be able to do that." And that's it. That's what I've been experiencing for the last 9 years. That's why 3,500 plus volunteers are hooked on getting involved with Red Frogs every year and being a part of stuff like this. There's a great story that I've gotten to be a part of over a number of years that kind of demonstrates this point, where it actually starts with my cousin up on the Gold Coast, who is a Red Frogs volunteer. And he met this young guy at schoolies who'd he'd had a fun start to the week, but he'd done a few things that he was a bit bummed out about and wanted to kind of get some of his behavior under control. And so he started talking to my cousin Ben, the Red Frogs volunteer, about, hey, I wanted the rest of this week to go differently. And they started chatting about some of those things that he might be able to do better to look after himself and his mates better. And he didn't have to do certain things to win approval, or peer pressure didn't have to be a driving force and what decided what he did with his days and his nights. And the knock-on effect of that was such that they got to the end of the week, and this young guy said to my cousin, "Hey, where do you live? I'm going to Canberra for university next year." And Ben said, "Well, I live here on the Gold Coast, but I have a cousin," and he's referring to me at this point, who lives in Canberra. I was in Canberra at the time. "I'd love to connect you with him." And so sure enough, Ben gave me a call, gave me this guy's number and said, "Hey, he's asked to continue chatting about his own decisions." And obviously universities, like you get schoolies week, it's 1 week away with your friends. You move into a residential college at a university, it's like schoolies week all year. With orientation.
For about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And so he rocks up at university, and I got to continue that journey with him, and he had some great weeks, but he also had some moments where, again, he was influenced by mates to do things he wasn't necessarily proud of, or didn't want his life to be involved with. And so he said to me, we would meet up every week or every other week and grab a coffee on university campus and talk about those things, and just continue to encourage him to seek a life where he was being a positive impact. He was achieving his own goals, but he was also influencing those around him for good as well. And so that's that knock-on effect, right? In the middle of that quote, it's dignity restored, hope found, loved in the middle of their mess. That was this young guy right at schoolies week, right? And then the flow-on effect of that. And I still get. I'm obviously not in Canberra anymore, back here on the Central Coast, and I still get messages from this young guy saying, "Thank you so much." And he still sends messages to Ben, said, "Thank you so much for being there in the middle of that season talk me through and go, no, you don't have to continue down that path. You have no idea how much encouragement that was in the moment. And I'm so grateful now, all these years down the track, post schoolies, post a couple of years of university study, the impact you guys have had on my life is hard to measure. And so cool to see the flow-on effect, right? Is that 1 week experience at schoolies, but it goes beyond that as well.
Well, that was one of the things I actually wanted to sort of dig in a little bit deeper with this morning, because I was having a bit of a look at some of the stats around red frogs. So, I mean, we're talking about it being kicked off back in 97. You've got over 3,500 volunteers every single year for all of these events that you go to. You've had over like 1.2 million people impacted by red frogs every single year. Now, I mean, most of us just thinking, well, an Allen's red frog, yeah, one of those, lovely. But this is impacting over a million people every single year. You've got 11 schoolies locations. I mean, you know, over 132,000 students equipped and empowered to make positive choices. And look, one of the things that I love about you guys is, you know, when you were just talking there, Caleb, about, you know, it's really like it's a non-judgmental thing. You just want to be there for people. And the best way that you're able to do that is the practicalities.
Yeah, that's it.
Water and frogs to start with. I mean, who would have thought? But there is a whole heart that comes through that. And I mean, look, you know, we were talking before as well about the impact that this is having. Are there one or two stories that really stand out to you from, you know, either from the schoolies or the universities, maybe the sporting events or the festivals that you go to, you think, oh, that right there, or those couple, that was worth it. You know, if I only ever saw that happen once every 5 years, that is worth it right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's this great story, and people can actually jump on our website or head to our YouTube, and some of these stories have been able to be captured via video documentary and that kind of thing. And you can hear firsthand from some of the young people that have been impacted by red frogs, and often it's that ongoing effect, like we talked about with that last story I mentioned, with this young guy who met red frogs for the first time on the Gold Coast and then followed through to Canberra at university. There's one, I'll find out her name because it can be shared because it's on this station in our next break on our YouTube stories captured. But it's this great story about she rocked up to university and without realizing it, she developed a really harmful relationship with alcohol where she wasn't sort of able to control herself when drinking, and it left her mental health absolutely spiraling. And she began to have thoughts about the value of her own life and questioning whether, and because she'd moved away from home to go to university, the residents felt really foreign to her. You know, she's surrounded by people you kind of know her, but now there's some shame for her in some of what she's done at these parties when drinking and stuff like that, and so reaching out for help in that space feels unsafe. But she'd noticed the red frogs. She'd seen the red frogs, these guys, these sober, happy, friendly, non-judgmental faces who had continued to rock up to these parties and continued to show up for her and continued to be there for her, not only on the night. And so she actually spoke to one of the volunteers at one of the parties and said, "Hey, it might look like I'm having a lot of fun and doing okay here, but I'm really struggling." And the red frog followed up and said, "All right, well, hey, let's hang out outside of just these environments then, hey?" And she was able to connect with her and share some of her own journey with university and with friends and finding those positive relationships and that sort of thing. And it went from her feeling completely isolated, you know, alone in what she was experiencing, to realizing, no, there's this group of people, these guys behind the red frog shirts, they actually genuinely care. They're really here for me. And so they made a habit of catching up for coffee regularly, and she talks about in the video, which I'll find for us, and she talks about calling her up at all hours of the night and saying, "Hey, I'm struggling again." And this volunteer going above and beyond to say, "All right, we'll come and hang out with you again." And just being there in those moments and reminding her, you're not alone. Your life has value. Your life has value, and we want to remind you of that and sit with you, and when maybe you're questioning that yourself, and make sure you get through this together. And it's those stories like that, right, where a young person might feel unseen by their own peers or judged by their own peers. And reality, in most cases, they're not. And we talk about the power of speaking up. There's strength in saying, "I need help," and often red frogs can feel like that first safe person for a young person to talk to and say, "Hey, I'm I'm not doing okay. Can you help me?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And what about for the parents? Because obviously, all of these kids who go away to schoolies and different things like that, or university for the first time, most of them are leaving behind families in different areas, and so, but particularly when they're of that age, they're ready to head out and like you say, celebrate the end of high school, because it is a whole bunch of your life there. Some really formative years and some formative experiences happen there to get you to the person where you are at that age, and then all of a sudden you're sort of out into the world. You've got this event like schoolies and different things, but then there's the parents left at home. So what are some of the things that you would say to parents who are listening this morning? Maybe about red frogs and what sort of happens up there, and again, speaking to maybe some of their concerns.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've got a partnership now with Cricket Australia, which is fantastic.
Brilliant.
We go to all the test matches that happen over the summer in Australia, and again, some of the concerts and festivals attract, let's say, a more mature-aged patron. So at the cricket and then at concerts, we've got last year. Who did we get to? What were some of the big acts that came out last year?
Coldplay.
Yeah, we were at Coldplay, Taylor Swift. I'm trying to think of some of the ones. Green Day was there. Trying to think of some of the more mature age. There was one that
mature age.
Yeah, there was some.
Green Day fit right in there.
I was going to say
totally mature age.
Some of our more mature age frog volunteers, I think, were particularly excited about some of these shows. If I could put it that way, and it's amazing we're in those environments, right? And we're meeting often parents of people who haven't had a first-hand encounter with red frogs yet themselves, but they've heard about what red frogs have done for their kids when they've been at schoolies or university, and they just say thank you. Thank you so much for being there. And it's that peer-to-peer support that I would hope my young person could find, and you've provided that by doing what you guys do. And so for parents, I would say to head to redfrogs.com.au. You can check out all of the different stories that we've kind of been touching on here, and the different strategies that Red Frogs have got for being there for young people. You can also pass on resources. There's resources for parents, resources that they can pass on to their kids and say, hey, these guys will be at schoolies, these guys will be at university if you want to get connected with them, and look out for and get in contact with the local Red Frogs teams wherever your young person might be going to university or whatever it is, as well. And there's also the opportunity to check out, obviously, and support other Red Frogs volunteers. You can sponsor a volunteer, you can become a friend of the frog and throw a couple $1 a month at Red Frogs or whatever it might be, if people are interested in that side of things.
Friend of the frog.
Yeah, friend
of the frog.
These
I like it.
phrases are coming hot and
I like
heavy,
it.
I know.
That's it.
Marketing team is genius.
Friend of the frog. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So a whole bunch of information there. But yeah, I love it when we go to these events, these concerts, these cricket, and people say, if it's a young person, they'll come and say, you saved my life at schoolies. It's like, I've never met you before in my life. But they just see the shirt and the memories come flooding back in for them of how that person was there for them. And obviously those stories go back to their parents. And their parents say, thank you so much.
That's the beauty of it, man. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like the Samaritan, the Good Samaritan in the Bible. You see a guy across the street, you don't know who he is, you don't know what he's about, you don't know if it's a trap or not, or if he's going to get mugged, if he's got friends, but you go over and help. I mean, you guys are out there. I mean, the civic duty for us really should be, there's someone in need, lend a hand, but we don't. But humanity should demand more of us. Here's a person that's sitting here that just wants to talk. Like I said before, people want to be heard. Hey, can you lend an ear for 5 minutes? It could do the world for that individual. You know what I mean? I don't know how many people we probably passed up, us as humans, who we had a chance to save a life and we just walked right on past, because in some places that's just the standard. And then, down the track, that person we walked past ended up taking their life. But it's a joy to hear about when we don't, and we stop and we have the conversation, and we see the repercussions of that action on that person's life.
Right.
But see, you're hearing it from the parents.
Right.
How much more better?
Right.
You're hearing it from the parents, like you said. Wasn't me, but I'll take the credit for it. Thank you. I'm a frog. Thank you.
And that's it. And you're so right. Like the shirt, the lolly, it's great help to be able to feel comfortable doing this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what we really need is people feeling comfortable to do this shirt, lolly or not.
Yeah.
They notice a colleague.
Yeah.
They notice a family member.
Yeah.
Someone who's usually real bright and sparky who's a little bit quiet.
That's it.
Someone who's usually a bit on the quieter side, but kind of getting out there and doing some things that you're not so sure are healthy for them. And it's that willingness to be able to stop and go, hey, I just wanted to check in on you.
Yeah.
How you do? You don't need to be a part of a charity, a volunteer. You don't need training to be able to start that conversation, right? And there are so many resources for people if they want to be equipped on how to be able to broach those conversations, obviously. But that willingness, as you say, to stop and notice someone who's struggling and be there for that. It could be 5-minute conversation.
And there's the answer for the people who still haven't figured out what the red frog is for. It's right there. Have a frog.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah.
It's a conversation starter. We'll be back with our guest, Caleb from Red Frogs. Hey, you're tuned in to 94.9, as Craig would say, on your FM dial or on the app. Anywhere around.
He's got it all happening, hasn't he?
And from the website. I got to represent.
And look, a big shout out to him this morning as well, Craig Stevens. Not the same without you here, bro.
Yeah, love you, bro. Thinking of you. In the studio, Caleb, you were mentioning a story from a particular gal before we went to the break, and you were hunting up the name for her?
Got it for you. Kathleen is her name. And that's just one of several video stories that have been captured of young people who have been impacted by red frogs that are up there on our, like I said, head to redfrogs.com.au. From there you can jump through to our YouTube or check out some of the stories on there. And there's a series called Safeguarded, again, that word. And if you just search that word on our YouTube channel, you're going to find a bunch of stories of young people who've been impacted, like Kathleen, by the work of red frogs, consistently showing up and being there and ready for those conversations.
Now, the thing, obviously, we're reading some of the stats out there earlier this morning, and it's, it's spread far and wide. It's pretty much all over Australia now, which is quite amazing when you think about it. Just started from one little epicenter.
I know. And
there it is. We're Australia-wide. We're even going into some of the nations of the world now, which is just incredible. Yeah. And look, obviously, we live in a world that is run, unfortunately, by financial matters, financial decisions, and look, we want to make sure that people are getting on board and still, furthering the work of Red Frog. So, if people want to get on board with you guys and help out, particularly around volunteering, maybe fundraising, what are sort of some of the things that you do, mainly, number one, around fundraising, and number two, what would you be looking for in, I probably just broke the cardinal rule of media then, asking two questions at once. But, hey, this is what we do here. This is what we do here. We push the boundaries. Yes. But number one, let's get into that one first. So, we'll talk about volunteers real quickly to kick us off this morning. So what are you looking for in volunteers, Caleb, when you send these people out around the nation?
Besides breath.
Besides
the ability to rock a red
more
shirt,
detail. Yes,
nice.
Eat frogs.
Nice. Well, we don't want them to eat too many of the frogs. If you're eating more than you're handing out, we've probably got a conversation to have there as well. Which for some of our first time froggers, tadpoles we call them, we let that experience.
I love it.
We let that experience last about a week, and then they realize, actually, if I keep doing this isn't going to go.
Yes.
Yeah. If people want to get involved, they can head to the website, all of the different volunteering opportunities that are there. One thing that's pretty cool is there's 300 plus churches that have volunteers involved with Red Frogs. And that often is because people have had experience doing mentoring for young people, pastoral care, being that listening ear, that kind of thing. So that's really cool. Yeah. A lot of volunteers coming from that space across Australia. But like I say, people can head to the website and check out the volunteering opportunities that are there, and that'll get you in touch with your local Red Frogs teams, and they can talk about what's needed for the different programs going on there with you. But in terms of how people can get involved beyond that, there's a bunch of different ways that you can find to support Red Frogs. I already mentioned Friend of the Frog. That's your basic do good Netflix subscription. You can jump on and you can subscribe in a way. You can commit to sending in the price of a coffee a month or a little more if you like.
Wow.
If you're a business, you might want to do a little more than that per month as a contribution towards the work of Red Frogs. So that works at both a corporate donation level or individuals can get in touch. We've got a goal at the moment, 100 for 100, 100 businesses coming on to do $100 per month as a Friend of the Frog. So we're trying to get those 100 businesses online contributing that. So if you're a business owner or you're in touch with someone who's a business owner and they like to attach the work that they do to a bigger cause, to something, to some good work that's happening in Australia and, like you say, around the world. But we've obviously got the opportunity to hear about the specific work going on in regions as well. So if you specifically want to host a Red Frogs fundraiser opportunity, that can be as big as a gala dinner type thing. But we also just do lunches where we come together and share about the impact of Red Frogs with business owners in their very own area. And that's if you're someone who's already on board with the Red Frogs, you've heard about what we've been doing, maybe even supported us in the past, and you go, how can I help further? That's one of the things we're most grateful for, is if you're willing to introduce us to some of your own contacts who might be looking for the opportunity to contribute to something bigger, and we can come have lunch with you and colleagues and be able to share about the work that we do specifically in the local area as well as more broadly, and invite them to, no obligation, consider partnering as a friend of the Frog.
Yeah, cool. Look, I mean, obviously Allen's is an iconic brand, iconic name. It is known all over the world, and it is a favourite here in Australia too for generations. But I just thought I'd ask you as well, Caleb, this morning, like, what? I mean, if you could, name drop. What are some of the other, I guess, corporate friends of the Frog that are out there?
Yeah, I should have worn my shirt in. Because
decorated, is it?
Because we've got on the back of our Red Frog shirts, we've got a whole bunch of sponsors that do a lot for Red Frogs. But we've got everything. One of the cool partnerships that we've had recently is with a local vending company called Replenish, who have simply got this partnership with us where they actually get the machines that they're putting in different places. They have them stickered, if you like, with what Red Frogs is doing. And proceeds from those vending sales go towards Red Frogs. And that's their small way of making a contribution. But right up to partnerships with Grilled, who do an incredible job, not only helping us with
there we go. Love the burgers.
Opportunities to get the volunteers well fed during Schoolies Week and that kind of thing.
Nice.
But they also supply the workers with cards, where they might get a discounted second burger, which is a great opportunity for a Red Frog volunteer and their team to connect with a young person and say, hey, let's go grab lunch. And it enables them to be able to do that.
And those are the little things you don't think about, because you need something to counteract all that sugar.
Yeah.
A bit of protein in there.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Another one of the most popular things that we do is it's the Red Frogs, it's the water, but pancakes. Random acts of pancakes, we call it.
There you go.
Because, fancy that during pre-drinking in particular, pancakes is very helpful for young people, get a bit of sustenance into them. Yeah. And so we've had pancake drives happening for a long time. And that both at an individual level, people can purchase, donate the money towards, or purchase pancake shakers from their local supermarket and find a local drop-off point. But we've also had IGA 4 Seasons, I believe they're called. Yeah, Seasons IGA, sorry. Come on, and that's a group of IGAs that have donated just bulk pancake shakers our way.
Wow.
So right from that individual level, right up to that corporate collective donation.
And
level.
what'd you call that one?
The random acts of pancakes.
Oh, couldn't work a froggy thing in there.
Yeah, no, there's no frog thing in there. I mean, sometimes we cook the frogs into the pancake. It's I don't know what confectionery, whether you guys have ever done those sweet pancakes. We've actually stopped putting the frogs in there because they go like molten lava.
Oh yeah. Well.
I mean, look, there's some sort of a saying around that. I can't think, but some sort of something about a frog in a blender. There's all that kind of thing.
They can't use IHOP because that's already taken.
Well, that's right.
International House of Pancakes.
Nice.
You come up with something.
That works.
I mean, you guys had a whole
Waffle
bunch
House,
of
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, something. I don't know. You guys, I'll put my ridiculous brain to work, and I might come up with something. I'll text it to you.
Cheers.
You got to keep that line going on. So look, we got 3 minutes here left.
Actually, I wanted, as well, like when we were off air just a while ago, having a break there, we sort of were having a bit of a chat about. What are some of the events coming up that people may be able to see the Red Frog shirts at, and even come up and have a bit of a chat to the guys about it. So I mean, obviously there would be some things between now and Christmas, New Year. I think that would be probably a pretty busy time of the year for you guys as well.
Absolutely, the summer for sure. Obviously, every year we've got our huge efforts around schoolies and leavers, and so if people want to check out how they can support that with pancakes, financial donations, consider volunteering, all of that's there on the website. But in terms of Central Coast specific opportunities to see the Red Frogs in action, is it rolling sets? Rolling
Yes.
Sets Music Festival.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
happens
yes,
at the entrance. The Red Frogs will be active at that. Have been for a few years
Okay.
now. So if you're a
Come
Central
on.
Coaster, head along to that festival.
Yep.
Make sure you say good day to the Red Frogs. Grab a few Red Frogs. And for our sports lovers, if you're heading into Sydney for the cricket, big cricket season coming up, right? With England
on.
coming out. Obviously, there's a chance to see the Red Frogs in actions there, doing sunblock, Red Frogs, water. Zupa Dupas become very popular on those.
Oh,
hot,
you cannot beat them.
yeah, on those hot summer days, they go down really well, the icy poles. And stop the Red Frogs you see at those various events and say, hey, tell me more. A great question to ask a Red Frog. Hey, why do you get involved?
Yeah.
Why do you choose to be involved with Red Frogs? And hear about, I shared about my experience seeing Red Frogs in action at that bush doof on a banana farm 9 years ago, and I still haven't given it up. There's great stories like that from Red
Yeah.
Frogs volunteers out in the wild that you'll get to hear.
I heard it on the news there early this morning when I was doing the breakfast show that Glenn McGrath, I think, has come out, one of the greatest fast bowlers of all time. He's come out and said he's pretty confident of a 5-0 sweep against the Poms this summer. So I was like, bring that on. And if that happens, look, I mean, you probably should get some of those Red Frogs volunteers down here to Barmy Army. They're probably going to need it. They're probably going to need
a
it.
good idea, especially if it
Get them a
goes the
few
way Glenn's
pancakes, a
saying.
shoulder to cry on, different things like that. But it will be great. It will be great. Like I said, these massive events that are being held around the country, these are the sort of places you get bulk people in there and you have no idea of what is happening in somebody's life at that. They're
Right.
having a good time at the sport or a music festival, school is whatever, but it just takes that one conversation starter. Ah, man, feel like a Red Frog? Get one of them in here. They're great. How's life, man? How you been doing?
You got it.
And off you go.
Yeah, you got it.
And
You got it.
And if it's breakfast, you can get a frog stack.
Yeah, no, he's got one. He got it.
Frog stack.
Frog
How
stack.
about
That's your pancake.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
your
why
pancake
not?
now.
It could work. It could work, maybe.
Yeah, we'll take that one to the vote, I think.
Anyway.
We'll take it to the vote.
Our guest this morning, Caleb from Red Frogs, redfrogs.com.au if you want to check it out. Whole host of things there. Man, it's good to see you guys evolve. From 97, I'm surprised. I thought it was a lot longer than that because when we saw you guys in Newey, you looked so organized. Maybe just because we were all hyped up on sugar from the Red Frogs, you're feeding us. But no, really good to see you guys grow, man. Really impressive. And look, hop in anytime you want. Give us a frog report. We'd love to see that. See what's going on with the froggies, frog tadpoles. That. I'm trying to drop them all in there, but I can't remember them all.
He's nailing it. Well, thank you. Thanks for letting us share a bit of the story. Thank you to anyone who's considering checking it out, maybe even getting involved. And definitely. Appreciate the invite. I'll come back sometime
Excellent.
soon.
Yeah. We'll see you next week, folks.
You've been listening to an Encore presentation of New Expressions, which can be heard live every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on 94.9 Rima Central Coast.